Right.
All right, we're gonna hop into a video right now if I can get through this, since my girlfriend was just making me laugh.
I would never do such a thing.
About really just being secure. And the last couple of days I've been talking about this theme of going on a quest to find like the best person you can ever possibly find. And I've been preaching this because, you know, like most people I feel like settle and they want to try to make their partner into like more than what they actually are. And so, you know, dating becomes this process of like going into the sexual marketplace and negotiating for the best person that you possibly get. And really what you want to do is get, you know, the best person that you possibly get, what they are right at that moment, not somebody that you have to change. So you go through this process and, you know, you get, you know, if you're, you know, you're working on yourself, you're making yourself into a high quality person, you're dating a lot, and you're able to choose from the best, you know, the best person that you can possibly get. Ultimately, most likely, and really I'm speaking to men here, it's like you're probably going to end up with somebody that's pretty fucking attractive, right? Because you shouldn't be settling. You know, you should be going after your 10. Everybody's 10 is different. You know, it's subjective. But, you know, chances are, you know, based on societal norms and sort of what's been programmed into our heads and just what's biologically attractive in the universal sense, fitness, you know, hair, nails, all this kind of shit, you know, probably you're going to end up with somebody that's not only hot to you, but hot to a lot of other people too. If you're really putting yourself through this process of sort of, you know, weathering yourself to rejection, going out dating a lot, and you know, getting good with the opposite sex, and you know, choosing from that place. And so once you end up with, you know, a girl that's pretty fucking hot, you know, ultimately what's going to happen is she's going to get attention from other people. And you know, you'll see this, maybe you've been this guy in the past. You know, you'll see this with other couples. You know, a lot of times, like if a girl was to tell her significant other, like, hey, this guy just hit on me or whatever, like then the guy sort of like hardens up and fucking bitches about it, maybe hassles the girl. Yeah. What's the usual? So we have our advisor off out of the view. But like, what do you think like would be the like typical thing? Like did you egg that on or just pouty face? Yeah. So, right. So going into.
Okay.
Pouty face. Yeah, whatever that is. Angry face. Oh, yeah. Maybe like bowing up a bunch, right? Like going into fucking like angry bull mode. But it's like, is it really like warranting to go to angry bull mode just because some guy like checked out your girlfriend? It's like one thing, like if you're gone, okay, and a guy doesn't know if your girlfriend's single or not. If you're gone, it makes sense that if she's hot, other guys are going to approach her. That's nothing to get pissed off about, right? Now, if you're there and a guy clearly sees that you're together and still hits on her anyway, you could perceive that as disrespectful and all of a sudden get mad maybe, or at least, you know, like, who is this fucking guy or whatever, right? And that's a different kind of response. But typically, you know, a lot of girls don't want to tell their boyfriend these kind of things because it just becomes a hassle for them. Because the guy is going to maybe accuse them of bringing it on or just sort of get mad, and now all of a sudden his energy's closed off and now she can't have fun for the rest of the night. Even if he doesn't accuse her of anything, it's like maybe that just ruins her night because now he's fucking pissed off and insecure or whatever. And so, you know, you don't want to be in this space of being rattled by the fact that your girlfriend's in demand or your wife is in demand. Because and you want to be in touch with reality. It's like, okay, like there is a sexual demand for somebody that's attractive. That fucking exists regardless of commitment, regardless of your certificate, regardless of any understanding of you know what's going on. There's always this underlying, you know, sexual demand that's always going to fucking be there. There's always going to be people that are attracted to, you know, your wife or girlfriend, especially if she's somebody that maybe is into fitness or that has really great a great personality or like really great energy. It's gonna fucking be there. So you want to be secure. You want to be able to be happy, you know, with yourself and understand your own value so that you can deal with this kind of thing. And probably the the more gracefully that you can deal with this kind of stuff, the more attractive you're going to be to her, because she probably has noticed that in the past, no other guy could she really be honest with about that kind of a thing, or, you know, etc. And it's sort of a tangent because, so really kind of what I mainly want to talk about is like, so really since the beginning, my girlfriend and I have sort of had like this really open and honest, like even like brutal honesty, like down to the fucking nitty gritty details, like no matter what. And we kind of get a kick out of when guys hit on her, and she'll tell me, and because she knows that I'm not going to fucking hassle her. And then I get like, I understand how this works. Like even I've been that guy in the past where I've hit on girls that I knew were in relationships and stuff like that. So it's, I mean, like I get the reality of it. And so sometimes, or, you know, she'll tell me, and it's funny because this is the only relationship I've ever been in like that, where there's like full disclosure like that. She knows she didn't have to tell me, you know, there's probably, if she told me every little thing, it would just become like a fucking nuisance to like talk about every little thing. Right. But like if something is funny to talk about, or if something is like probably like prominent enough to just mention, you know, then like she'll tell me. And it's funny because I've never been in a relationship before where that's been the case. It's been like some stuff, you know, but not even like talking about like things that registered as like high enough to even tell me about, you know. It's like, you know, so I've never had this experience before. So long story short, it's been interesting to be the guy like in the girl's world, so to speak, where as it happens, like it's sort of being disclosed, and it's like you're getting these like, it's like reality pings, because it's like, yeah, in the back of your mind, you know your wife or girlfriend's hot, like you know that they're getting attention, but it's like as it comes in, it's like ping, ping, ping. It's like, oh, okay, so this is the reality. Like this is the volume of which, you know, your wife or girlfriend's getting approached.
Strangers offer you cardamom seeds in your car.
That was just the most recent thing. So honestly, like I think probably in the last 2 weeks, it's been a shit ton of stuff, right? And that's not really an anomaly. It's like that's just like what's prompted this particular video. But like really ever since I met her, you know, she's been reapproached by people from the past, approached time and again, like by new people, like little online feelers, you know, things in person, all this kind of stuff. And you know, it's funny because I say this because I bring this up because it's really fun to be able to, like, for me it's fun because like it's a compliment to see that like she's in demand. Like it's kind of like this little petty trivial, like, yeah, my girlfriend's like super fucking hot, like kind of a thing. And it's like fun to like know. But and also I couldn't feel that way if it was this kind of thing where I was constantly like trying to compare myself, because there's going to be guys that are better looking than me that hit on her. There's going to be guys that are more jacked or like more, you know, stronger, maybe like even tougher guys. Like who's to say that like some jiu-jitsu black belt doesn't go and hit on her, or some fucking bodybuilder or some model or something. It could happen. But the problem is that, you know, that might happen, but you have to understand your own self-worth to be able, and what you bring to the table, right? You have to be in touch with your own value, because I know no motherfucker is taking you away from me, you know, and that's something that if you're in touch with.
Exactly how detailed on the commentary are we allowed to go on these videos?
It's as detailed as you want to
go. We'll keep it PG. There's children on Facebook.
Well, you have to indicate on Facebook now whether or not you're creating content for children or not by law, and I know this because I just had to do it the last video, and so no kids are watching this unless their parents turn it on for them, which would be fucked up. So you have to be in touch with the value that you bring to the table, and presumably you're with somebody that's trustworthy anyway. But long story short, so it's been fun to kind of like sit back and like to be told these little things, because it's like, it, as the guy, remember that the way it works for guys, unless you're a fucking like, you know, like little minor celebrity or maybe like a model, or like maybe you're like a club owner or something like that, where you've created your own little atmosphere of attention, most guys don't have the attention coming into them like girls do, right? So it's a mind fuck to see what it's like in terms of the attention flowing in to the girl. So like in this case, as the boyfriend of the girl that's telling me like what's going on, it's like it's sort of a mind fuck because this doesn't happen for us as guys. And this is what I really wanted to get at. So a lot of boyfriends like are maybe if they're not in touch with their value and then they hear about this kind of shit, they're thinking, oh, like I don't have girls message me like that, and then they're like, shit, like am I really, like did I just kind of fool this girl into liking me? Like am I really worth like to have her? Because look at all these people that come after her, but I only maybe have one girl message me every once in a while or whatever. And it's like, and this is where people can sort of write an incorrect story in their head. And you have to recognize the way it works for girls and guys are different. So for most guys, unless you're this little fucking, celebrity in your own world kind of thing, like most guys, the way it works is that we have to go out and drum up attention. We have to go out and drum up. And the more you get, the more you get. And then it sort of expands, right? But it takes initial work and confidence and all this kind of stuff to do that. And so especially once you've been in a relationship for a while, you're not going to be doing that. So most guys in a relationship should not be getting that volume of attention anyway if they're doing right by their partner. And so it's easy to sort of write this incorrect story in your head as to like why she's getting attention, you're not, or whatever, and maybe second guess. But if you're in touch with your own value, then that's not going to happen. Also recognizing the way it works mechanically in terms of attention, stuff like that. So but the other thing is, it's like you also have to accept, and I think this is the interesting thing, and I always like to get down to the dark, brutal truths of reality. And I think it's interesting, and I don't know what conclusion I want to draw from this really, just so much as to mention it, that it is realistic that if you're with a super attractive person, they're going to be getting approached on the regular. And you have to be secure with that. You don't want to fucking shut that out of your mind. You don't want to assume that it's not happening. And I think the conclusion that I want to draw from that is, as she's staring at me as I'm doing this, I'm curious, what will you say? I think it's a call to action for personal development. And honestly, because we get it, and okay. I don't know how much detail I'm going to disclose here, but like when you think about people getting into relationships, marriages, and making the to death do us part commitment, mm-hmm. and then people falling short of that, right? Mm-hmm. The day-to-day reality as it occurs is different than the commitment. Like, or there's the gesture of commitment, and there's the concept of like the marriage certificate, and you know what I mean, the concept of marriage, but the day-to-day reality is a fluctuating.
Well, that's the to love, honor, and cherish until death do us part, and most people only like to listen to till death do us part.
Yes. And so what I'm saying is that, especially if you're with a super attractive girl, that demand is something that is, keep in mind, a guy has to demonstrate his value out in the world. And it comes from being masculine and aggressive and the type of guy that's going to be reliable and can go out into the world and exert his will on the world and demonstrate his value as a man. You have to demonstrate that. But a lot of women's value, at least half of it, is immediately visible. It's immediately visible because if you're fucking hot, people can see it and they want it right away. And that's the first thing that guys' minds go to. And we're scanning for that. And so that value is immediately demonstrable. And so that super hot girl that is your partner or whatever, her demand is going to be universal and ever present. Or not universal, but it's going to be fucking ever present for the people that, are looking for it. And so it's a call to action. So me like being in touch, like you telling me things and then getting these little reality pings is like, okay, yeah, like that guy thinks she's hot, this guy, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's a call to action to stay on top of your shit to stay in like a quality person. Okay, like there's always going to be that commitment. It's like, yeah, your partner's going to fall short. They're going to get weak at times, and that's where the commitment comes into play.
Yeah.
But it's also like, hey, don't fucking lose it. Don't lose it, because yeah, like especially if you're with a super hot girl, and it's more than that, right? But it's funny because like normally I just talk to the camera. I'm like talking in two directions right now, but my conclusion is it's a call to action. It's a like a fire to stay sharp in your own way. And a lot of us like to sweep this under the rug, or maybe like not pay attention to it, But I think it's super fucking interesting where you're actually, because you don't want to be hypersensitive to it, right? Like it should just kind of roll off your shoulders. The guy, it's like, yeah, like I knew that would happen. Of course, you're going to get this attention. You don't want it to bug you, but really, you should be in touch with the fact that she's in demand, and really, you want to be an equal caliber person that warrants that. And I don't know how to phrase that any better than that, but it's interesting. I think it's super fucking interesting. What kind of closing comments do you have, since you're a guest in this video, so to speak? Nothing?
Thank you. Thank you pretty well. Got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about my conclusion?
I think it's accurate.
Yeah? Okay. Nothing to add?
No.
Okay, cool. Then we got it. Awesome. Okay, well, that's what we got. Have a good one.